Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've covered this week's single Marvel book as well as our non-Batman books, and that's not to cover this week's Batman books, starting with Detective Comics number 1057. Continuing the Shadows of the Bat story arc. Where we'd left off, the tower was in chaos. The inmates were largely following the lead of the Scarecrow, but other forces were attempting to get in, including the Penguin. And Batman had returned to town and saved Nightwing upon doing so. So you should begin the night with Batman basically just, launching himself into the tower, dealing with some of the party crashers. While Scarecrow further deals with Psycho Pirate and Noyuki Nakano. Seems, however, that Anna Volshin is trying to convince. Either way, well, Anna Volshin does make the suggestion. Somehow, Scarecrow has decided that he wants the Medusa mask for himself. So, Robin, Tim Drake, and Batgirl, Steffi Brown, are trying to help lead people to safety when they run into some of Penguin's goons. Batwoman comes in with the assist. In the pharmacy, Harley Quinn is making sure that the party crashers can't get to the various drugs within. But turns out Lady Clayface is also there, and helps deal with the party crashers as well. Batman also deals with some of Penguin's goons. Anna Volshin goes to attack Noyuki and Psycho Pirate, but Huntress saves her. And Noyuki tries to get Psycho Pirate out. Batman, Robin, Batwoman, and Batgirl, Cassandra Cain this time, catch up to Scarecrow. And, of course, Scarecrow doses them with a massive amount of fear toxin, but after putting on the Medusa mask, however, Psycho Pirate manages to cause him to feel confusion long enough that Batgirl can kick the mask off of him. But basically everyone goes for the mask. Then Noyuki puts it on. And that is where this part of the issue ends. It is hinted that later she's in therapy, however, discussing things with Dr. Meridian. So, next up, we've got House of Gotham. Where we left off with House of Gotham, the boy was during No Man's Land. The boy led one of the factions of Gotham survivors and had actually managed to get Killer Croc on his side. So we begin with the Joker showing up at the charter remains of the Martha Wayne Home for Boys. wondering if he's in the right place. At the offices of Gotham Light and Power, there's been a break-in, and Batman explains that he set up some security devices in there himself to make sure to see if anyone ever came in. And it seems that Elliot Mason, an employee of Light and Power, may have been there recently with the Joker. Apparently, Red Hood's watching. Claims he may have seen the Joker go. He saw Elliot go in, and with the Joker, Batman crashes into the window. And Elliot swears he's not hiding the Joker there. In the North Gotham water main, Batman, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Red Robin are, well, following leads. Red Hood points out that there are multiple footprints in the sludge, but the four of them split up, with Red Hood about running afoul of Killer Croc, and Nightwing running afoul of Clayface, and Red Robin seemingly running afoul of Scarecrow. Batman orders everyone out of the tunnels, and it's a trap as the water flows into the tunnel. A massive amount of water flows back into the tunnel. And that is where the issue as a whole ends. Honestly, I keep singing the praises of both the main story and Shadows of the Bat story, The Tower, and House of Gotham. They're both great. I'm gonna be kind of bummed when this goes back to being monthly or twice weekly, or monthly, or even twice monthly, because I've really been enjoying the monthly run on Detective, or the weekly run on Detective. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Catwoman number 41. Where we left off, Catwoman had been hit with a rock salt shotgun blast and tended to by the thief Valmont, who killed the men who assaulted her. Turns out they were likely also the same men who killed girl Christie, but yeah. The issue began with Don Tommaso trying to figure out what to do, talking to his son, and just kind of, and arguing, but also present is Noah, his son's best friend and actually boyfriend. But Don Tommaso's son ends up leaving, and Valmont and Catwoman are taking care of the bodies, delivering them to the Flamingo. Who it turns out is a cannibal. Though Valmont insists those are nasty rumors. That's a nasty rumor, but Catwoman assures him they're quite literal. But Catwoman goes to leave. She's not entirely fond of the fact she's currently hanging out with a killer. But she leaves but notes that Valmont hasn't followed him, because Valmont is being attacked by an unseen attacker, Onyx Adams. But Catwoman shows up. her and Onyx talk a bit. First in costume, then out. Basically, Onyx catching up, kind of, making sure that things are as they seem. Explaining that she did not ask Valmont to kill those guys. She was injured, and he did, and yeah. But, two of them have themselves a bit of a scuffle. And, they go to the Trixie to check things out, where it turns out that Dario Tommaso is planning to blow the place up. His father's inside him there with Black Mask, but Catwoman stops him and basically fully recruits him. So he gets brought in on the plan. They're going after one of the other families, the Sullivan family. Dario's job is largely lookout, but since he won't seem out of place there. And so it turned out that Sullivan fixes fights. And he's got a crew of boxers. Their entire shtick is that they just fix fights. Catwoman and Onyx show up and basically put them on the disabled list. Onyx uses a large weight to crush the hands of one of them, but yeah. However, some other hitters of Sullivan's show up. Dario tries to distract them, buy some time, but they basically tell him, get strapped, help out, or back off. And so Dario uses the pepper spray he carries to buy Catwoman and Onyx a little bit of time, letting them know what's happening, and explain he just burned up every last bit of goodwill he had in the underworld. That night at Capullo's restaurant, the bosses are all meeting. And, Black Mask is trying to explain to them how things truly work in Gotham, even though they've been running things out of Gotham for years. Deciding that they need to hit Catwoman back. But Onyx, Dario, and Catwoman have dinner in Catwoman's apartment. Catwoman makes a point while Dario's there, keeping her mask on. Don't want the identity out. And Catwoman decides that she can sacrifice a few comforts for Dario, seeing as how he did use up every little bit of goodwill he had in the criminal underworld to get Onyx and Catwoman out of the gym. So Dario to sleep on her couch. However, shortly after they're both asleep, some assassins break in, seemingly with the plan to kill Dario. And that is where the issue ends. So far, seeing Howard's run on Catwoman so far is definitely enjoyable. It's definitely continuing to be entertaining, to say the least. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the character shift, but she does. It does still feel like it, leaving the alley, or leaving Alleytown and the Strays does still feel like a massive character shift, but everything else still feels right. And it's a good. It's a it's a good story. Good comics is good comics, you know. And moving on to our next book, we've got Nightwing number 90. Where we left off, Nightwing helped Superman track down a group of killers who were killing superhumans at the behest of Kaizen Gamora. Back in Bloodhaven, however, turns out Roland Desmond has set an explosive in the apartment building that Dick Grayson lives in with the plans of killing him. But present at the meeting where this is being discussed is Dick's half-sister, the mayor, who texts him to explain that the bug is about to be hit, and for him to get out. So, Dick grabs his dog, hits the fire alarm, does everything he can to get everyone out. Rescues a hard-of-hearing tenant, and Oracle lets Nightwing know that a drone is en route. A military drone is en route. But Nightwing manages to get out. In Keystone City, Linda Park wakes up to her phone going off on a TV station explaining there's been an explosion in Bloodhaven, with Linda reminding Wally that that's where Dick lives. Seconds later, the Flash is in Bloodhaven, going through the rubble, breaking his fingers over and over again, until he eventually finds Dick. Oracle suggests that maybe Dick should lay low for a minute. The apartment building was just blown up. No one has actually seen Dick Grayson since the explosion, so maybe he should lay low. And so Dick says, I could just go to Gotham, but, well, Flash states that, Dick reminds Dick that he's from Gotham. It's the second place that anyone would look. So he spends a few days with, he's decided he's going to spend a few days with Wally and Linda and the kids. But hey, just stay the night. The next morning, the police commissioner talks to one of the tenants of the building, making it to find out what's going on, and also makes a heavy-handed suggestion that she take Roland Desmond's aid for the survivors of the attack. However, the commissioner is able to figure out from talking that someone in the meeting tipped off Dick Grayson. But the next morning, Dick and Wally are trying to figure out what's going on. Currently, the only thing Wally's got is a wall with pictures and string connecting the pictures. But yeah, then Dick kind of just drops like a massive bombshell on Wally in the most casual manner. Like, yeah, I need to talk to my sister, see what she knows. And Wally's like, oh, what, sister? What? But she's on the inside. She's the mayor of Bloodhaven, and Wally makes the valid observation. He feels like he's missed several key important details. In Gotham, Barbara Gordon is taken by some thugs. Barbara Gordon, not Batgirl or Oracle, but Barbara Gordon. She lets Dick know what's happened, but the suggestion is made maybe follow them, and because Dick wants to know where the van's going. Turns out it's going to KG Beast and a handful of hitters who work for him. But when the van opens, Barbara's not inside the back of it. Nightwing and the Flash are. With Wally making the observation that this is, KG Beast is the guy that shot you, Dick. And, in the head, no less. And adding that there's a long list of people who wanted to get their hands on KG Beast. And Wally's very glad he got to KG Beast first. And that is where the issue ends. I do kind of appreciate the idea that everyone was a little there were a lot of people in the superhero community who wanted a piece of KG Beast after he shot Dick in the head. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Robins, number 5. Where we left off, the Robins, upon realizing Tim Drake had been kidnapped, entered into the VR, found a means of getting into the whole the VR network themselves. Same one that the Anarchies and the Junior Supercriminals were using, with each one apparently being thrust into his personal fantasy world. The only one we saw at first was Dick Grayson's, where he was still a spy for Spiral, with Huntress as his partner. So, first off, we get a bit of Damien's. He's a Buddhist monk. And seemingly happy. With Batgirl, she leads the Teen Titans. Jason Todd races cars and is well off enough to donate to run a charity named after his mother. As noted, Dick's a spy. Also turns out that his contact for the specific mission he's on is Zealot. But he sees a big yellow R pop up and touches it. Continuing on, in Gotham, Batman's investigating Cormac Drake, namely the building he used to operate out of. Explaining that as Drake loved to challenge people to find things almost as much as he loved to hide them. The contractors who converted the building had wouldn't have found what Drake had hidden in the building, because they didn't know to look. But Batman is attacked by a Gru, which is explained as being one of the earliest applications of the Triplux Holotech, twisted homage to early computer games. teeth and nails made out of razor sharp hard light. But Batman takes it out and gets a notification of a facial recognition hit for Cormac Dodge. Not Drake, Dodge. Cormac Dodge. However, then Red Hood and Batgirl show up to the Buddhist temple to grab Damien. Dick shows up as well, and kind of they basically, he's pulling everyone out. But a Red Robin shows up, and Damien realizes that's a clue from Tim Drake. And then they all become, basically they've all played their intro, so now they're officially playing. But they have to get back to the game. Batman follows the facial recognition hit to England, where he finds the site of an explosion, realizing that he's been playing this current game incorrectly. The clue was the county corrections building, the Wayne Memorial Hospital mental health conversion. And so, the Robins wake up in Dick's apartment, and we found out that all of their, while the idea is that their lives they have they'd be happy in, well, they still turn to crap. Stephanie Brown leads the Titans further and further away from the Justice League, to the point where the League and the Titans get into a fight with Superman. They lose, and no one trusts her after that. Damien couldn't reach enlightenment, so returned to the League. Jason discovered that the charitable foundation continually needed money, so he did what he did best, and he stole cars. Dick lost himself. While Helena was the hypnos, he knew the truth. It was the lack of clear rules and the inability to trust his own heart. Basically, they all, as Dick puts it, they all fell. Adding that they aren't just there to catch Batman before he falls. He catches them. And though Jason has it that, that's not it. They all fell because they weren't there for each other. And so this realization allows us to unlock Gauntlet Zero. And our original Robin sets up a trap for Batman, wherein he will show up and find Cormac Dodge. Only it will actually be Tim Drake appearing to be Dodge, or rather, the escape artist. And that is where the issue ends. Robins has been a very interesting read thus far. I'm curious. I am curious. The basics are obvious. They'll save Tim Drake. Everyone's happy. But I'm curious as to what will become of the apparent original Robin. Moving on, however, to our next book, we've got Batman the Knight, number 3. So Batman the Knight chronicles the training era of Bruce Wayne's youth. Where we left off, he had been learning some tricks of the trade from a cat burglar in Paris. The two of them stole a jewelry box from an oil company CEO, while the Paris police are dealing with a serial killer, and have called in noted detective Henry Ducard to help. Shortly before Ducard shows up at the cat burglar's home, Bruce discovered a hidden compartment in the jewelry box they stole and opened it, and a whole bunch of teeth came tumbling out, revealing that they'd stolen the trophies from a serial killer. So, the cops are discussing everything, telling the CEO what had happened. He, says, "Oh yeah, explains his family. His family's abroad. There, so but he'll." But turns out that while Ducard is working with the Paris Police Department for free, he has a paying job that he's in Paris for. Alfred Pennyworth has hired Ducard to find the missing Mr. Bruce Wayne. But Ducard asks where they got the teeth, and they realize that while the police had shown up because they were trying to warn a potential victim, instead they were letting the killer know they were onto him. Our serial killer decides he's going to go to his place in town. No one really knows about it, so he'll be safe there. An officer is sent to accompany him, but yeah. But he pulls to the side of the road and puts on some basic claw fingertips and kills the cop. But Ducard explains how it is he figured out the connection and he goes on to add that while the local police stated that they thought they were going to be warning that Ducard had given a list of potential victims, it was more that he had been trying to figure out who the killer was. But Ducard tells Bruce at one point that it's his job to get into people's heads, like Bruce's. Word gets out. Lucy puts out word she's trying to fence the jewelry box. Ducard and Bruce watch, but Bruce's observations are noticed. There's a fight between him and the guy buying the jewelry box, and he shoots Ducard. Turns out that the police believe that the Prime Minister is the next target on the list. But Bruce states that there's no way that's the case because he had that time to plan it. Whoever he's going after next is someone, it's his dessert, basically. It's someone he's been planning to go after for some time. Noting that there's another, the serial killer in question was orphaned as a child. Everyone else he killed was also orphaned. But there was one, apparently a happy orphan, and so that's who Bruce realizes that's who the victim is. He goes to save the guy, but our killer's already been there and strikes. And the killer strikes as Bruce is trying to save the victim. However, Bruce gets a little violent with him, just kind of just beating him down. Until Lucy pulls him off pulls him off. Later on, Bruce calls Alfred and leaves him a message, apologizing for not telling telling Alfred where he was going, and adding that Alfred's done so much for him. His parents set him on a path, but Alfred raised him. And he explains that Picard found him, but he's not coming home just yet. He needs to figure things out, and he will be back. And he tells Alfred he loves him. But Lucy basically kicks him out, and Lucy basically fires him and tells him that she's taught him what he needs, and what she does requires being cool and calm, which is the opposite of what she saw. But turns out that Bruce is going to go work with Picard. And the issue ends with Alfred listening to the end of the message from Bruce over and over again. Honestly, I really love Batman the Knight. The training era of Batman's past is rarely gone into. It's just kind of, if it's ever generally when it's gone into, it's more a case of introducing, having him team up with one of his old teachers or some such. But actually showing it, showing elements of it, that's really great. I'm really enjoying this miniseries just for that alone. But anyway, on to our last book for the week. We've got Batman Superman, World's Finest, #1. So there was a preview for this, I want to say in Detective 1050. By a preview, I mean they put like the first half dozen pages in at the tail end of the issue. But Poison Ivy has attacked Metropolis. Batman and Robin show up. Superman also shows up, but she's not working alone. She's working with Metallo, who manages to take down Superman because, well, kryptonite heart. And then he injects apparently liquefied kryptonite into red kryptonite, no less, into Superman's chest. Robin manages to incapacitate Metallo, but the red kryptonite reacts, well, as it apparently does now, with kind of a, it's unpredictable how it reacts. But someone is watching. I'm guessing from the silhouette, it's Satanas. We have a flashback to Gotham City. To years beforehand, one of the first times that Batman and Superman ever worked together, just them. Apparently, the Penguin kidnapped Robin, and it also explained that he had made a deal with the Quardians for interdimensional weapons to sell. But Superman and Batman both show up. Batman manages to save Robin. Penguin's taken down. Thunderers escape. And Basically, the kryptonite is really messing with Superman. There's a suggestion of basically finding a doctor for superheroes, but and so the Doom Patrol are called. But now Superman's hallucinating. He sees elastic. He sees various villains of his, or the Doom Patrol as various villains, including Non, Ursa, and Zod. As well as Batman as Lex Luthor. Batman is able to talk him down, but only just. Negative Man is able to also mitigate things by emulating the radiation of a red sun, which is luckily enough to knock Superman out. But he's to continue to have reactions. But Niles Calder, the chief, is preparing for surgery. And that is where the issue ends, with Robin asking Batman if he's out of his mind. Okay, it's an interesting start to things. I don't know if this is, I can't recall this is an ongoing or a miniseries, but to be fair, I probably would have been sold on the issue alone just for that cover. But this is that Jim Lee cover, and Dan Mora does the interior art, and it's cool because he uses the classic, the bat symbol and the yellow oval. Only it's the '89 movie symbol. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.